Man, nothing says autumn like a 90-degree day. Oh, it's getting weird out. Getting weird out. Is it weird in your neck of the woods? I don't know. Maybe weird is the new normal, but not even the cool kind of weird. It's like the weird kind of weird. You know, there's like cool weird, and then there's like, oh, ew, you know, like rabbit hole weird. That kind of weird. You know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about?
2 hours later.
And I'm still trying to explain this. We can't do it. I can't do it for that long, okay?
Random!
Sorry. Can you serve God and money? We're gonna try to. We're walking a fine balance. We're walking the balance beam from serving God and money here in America. I hear a lot of these people saying, "Oh, we need God in America, God, the Ten Commandments." But then I see them like, you know, hawking bitcoins and cutting backroom deals and all that stuff. So, you know.
And the enemy is the oligarchy.
The enemy is the bro oligarchy, I would say, Graham. Graham's a cool guy. If you're in Maine, vote for Graham. That's my advice if you're in Maine.
Yeah, you shut the hell up, you moron.
Sorry, RM. Didn't mean to. We do have news. I know when you hear that, it triggers the news in you. But it's the Sunday, the day where most Americans still work or answer emails from their boss. It's a fine day. It is. 'Tis be it, as they used to say in medieval, jolly old England. 'Tis be it. Here's some things that we should meme into the news. Why can't we have a high-speed rail? Why? Does anybody know? We could easily tax the billionaires or just stop sending our tax money to Argentina and Israel. We could just do that. But I would like to have a railway where I can travel across the country and not have to go on the planes. I don't know if you noticed, the planes are a bit iffy. Doors are falling off and the pilots are, you know, underpaid, tired probably. In case you didn't know, I thought he was making $66,000 an hour. That might be a typo, but either way, for all you guys that are like, you know, just work harder, get a second job. I just want to remind you what the CEOs make. Starbucks CEO, $46,000 an hour. Gap CEO, $9,000 an hour. Walmart CEO, $13,000 an hour. And these could be adjusted. You know, these are just rough estimates. Remember, it's the Lord's Day, so he's clearly not worshiping money today. Why would you need to worship money when, you know, you have all of it? I found a picture of Bill Burr at the Riyadh Comedy Festival. If you didn't see, this is Dave Chappelle. You can go on TikTok and you can find, looks like suey eyes. Looks like he has left his body there. Dave, you okay? You okay? You're making a lot of money, Dave. Are you okay? Hello? I don't know what's wrong with him. He does not look happy to be in Riyadh. Weird. Maybe because they spelt his name wrong. Dave Chappell. Like guy. Turkey Alamini, or whatever his name is. I can't read that, but I think his name is Turkey Alamini. Turkey Alamini. It sounds like a delicious dish, you know? Hey, what are you making for supper? I'm making a little turkey alamini. Ooh, cut me in on that. But the guy who's, you know, whitewashing Riyadh's history to make them become known as, you all know Mecca, but now you know Comedy Mecca, Riyadh 2025, in the year of our Lord. And maybe they should have just, you know, if this is Turkey Alamini's official account, which I think it is because it has the blue check, and this is where I grabbed this screenshot. You can go to Twitter. What is this called? TikTok too. But maybe you should just double check the name. Maybe that's why Dave's so mad. He's like, I went to Turkey Alamini's comedy festival, and all I got was my name spelled wrong and $1 million for a set. Is he only doing one set? Here's a photo of Kevin Hart arriving. Very nice. They gave him flowers. And then I was looking around for pictures of Bill Burr in Riyadh at the comedy festival. This is all I could find. It's an interesting bed. There's got to be a million sheet count. Jacob, hey, what's up? Sunday Live. First I've seen you in a long time. I know, how you been? I don't traditionally do Sundays. I'm trying to figure out how to work Sundays over to my Patreon. I think I'm gonna start doing Sundays on Sundays and Saturdays, because I go live. Old Billy Bonesaw, look at him resting nicely. That's a million thread count American sheet. he's resting nicely. But yeah. Dave Chappelle, something looks wrong with Dave Chappelle. He does not look happy to be in Riyadh. I hope he posts more, or Turkey Alamini posts more, whatever his name is. I don't know, really. It's like Turkey Alamini. I don't care. Honestly, I'm not going to try to learn it. Kevin Hart's there. Those are the only TikToks I saw so far. They haven't posted too much. I wonder why. I'm sure these guys might have front row seats. All the CEOs. Look at them. Look at them all. 8,000 an hour for running what? Abercrombie and Fitch? Do they really have a moose for their thing? I thought it was like a white guy with anorexia. I thought that was their mascot. Ross, Dress for Less, 8,000 an hour. CVS, 8,000 an hour. But look at that, Starbucks guy making coffee. I hate to break it to people. He didn't have any coffee experience. He came from Chipotle. Remember when they had that big diarrhea scare? That was him. He was the CEO. He's making $46,000 an hour. Now, some of you might be like, whoa, that's almost what I make in a year, or that's just less than what I make in a year. Well, keep defending these CEOs, and maybe they'll make double what you make in a year in an hour, because that's their hourly wage. So now I understand why, here in America, they talk about Jesus a lot, but they're really going after, the money. They're going after the money. Now I get it, Bill. I get it. We can all just hope to become famous enough that Riyadh asks us to come and do a comedy festival and ignore the sins of their past and, their laws. I wonder if anyone's going to get in trouble with their law. I wonder if they get a pass for the laws while they're at the Riyadh Comedy Fest, because they have like decently laws, like you can't say things. It's kind of like America. But Bill, I get it, buddy. That Mandalorian money wasn't enough. You need to. Yeah, I don't get why Dave Chappelle's there. Dave Chappelle must have $100 million. I just keep wondering, like, if these guys have, for all of us that are surviving off of whatever wage you earn, for the rest of us, where we're like, oh, I make 6 figures or less a year. It's fascinating to see these people do these things for money, because you're like, God damn, what kind of life are you living where you can't live off of millions of dollars a year? It's fucking weird. I wanted to point that out with all the pay talk. Do you guys remember when Apple used to include this stuff with their phone? Now, maybe some of you guys are young. I don't know. Hello from the UK. What's up, Jack Johnson? Are you the boxer or the folk artist? Is he folk? Folk pop, soft rock, Hawaiian pop. He could just be tired. Turkey's probably exhausting with all the people and things going on. He's not in Turkey. He's in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh. Turkey Alamini was the guy posting the things. Oh, we got somebody in here who's a fascist. So we're gonna. You can come back tomorrow, fascist. Hate from Australia. Hey, Australia, I just read a story about you guys. Did I get rid of it? I didn't take any pictures of it, but amazing story coming out of Australia, right here. PV Magazine. It says Australia, renewables supply record 77.9% of power in Australia's main grid. Damn. Now, if you've been sub to the channel for any time, you've heard me say that here in America, we should have solar panels over every single parking garage, every parking lot. You got to drive everywhere, so there's parking lots everywhere, and it should just be like natural. You know, the sun is a thing that comes out. We can harness its energy to power things. It would save us all a lot of money. Unless you like paying high electricity costs. I don't know. Some Americans defend it tooth and nail. I don't get it. But if we just covered every parking lot with solar power, covers protect us from the elements and also maybe generate things. And look at Australia. Australia doing an amazing thing. 77.9% of the power in Australia's main grid is hitting a record supply from renewables. So salute to Australia for doing the thing that, you know, we should all be doing. I don't know. When I hear just the name fossil fuels, I think, oh, extinction. Interesting. Yeah, we should probably move on to something that's supplied daily for free. But, you know, some people. Anyways, I just wanted to show this to the Zoomers. Is that what they're called? You guys are going to trip out. We used to get an iPhone. You would get the earbuds, the plug, and the cable to charge it all. And guess what? There was an extra fee. If you're watching this in the future, in the not so distant future, we didn't have to pay a subscription fee to, you know, rent the charger from Apple because they created a new outlet or some shit. And they were like, it's a subscription fee based. Sorry. The new cables are all subscription fee. You got to pay weekly. You know it's coming. Oh, this is the guy we've been talking about a lot. I've been playing a lot of his stuff. He talked about the other day Trump with Polaroids of Donald Trump with photos, Polaroid photos of Donald Trump with girls of an uncertain age that were topless. This is the author, and I found this. It was interesting. He said, of note, after I released recordings of interviews with Epstein, because he interviewed Epstein, Trump, you know, he talks to all the perverts. Interviews with Jeffrey Epstein talking about his long relationship with Donald Trump in the fall. I was locked out of my X account. Good to be here. And that's weird, because, you know, what's his face? What is his name? Alon.
Legalize comedy.
He wanted to legalize comedy. Never mind, like, fight back against people who, you know, just had interviews. These people are so petty. Let's see. What does President Sanders have to say? Oh, no. Alternate timeline. Sorry. Still senator. Bernie says, Mr. President, read the Constitution. The function of the U.S. military is to protect us from foreign enemies, not Portland, Oregon. In this country, we have local and state police to do law enforcement, not federal troops. Stop deploying the U.S. Army against America. Oh, God. And you hear this a lot. Stop calling us fascists. It's like, well, you know, stop fitting the fascist mold. Oh, what else have we got in the meme news? Oh, you see this? Stephen Miller, he keeps tweeting this. Or, I mean, he keeps tweeting that he wants Governor Newsom locked up. Claims that Democrats calling him a fascist constitutes incitement. He has some funny tweets, this new Nazi right here, Stephen Miller, who's in the government, not elected, but just there. And he had tweeted something like, citing a law, Governor Newsom should be arrested. And people wanted to point out that, you know, he's been false flagging the Democratic Party as fascist forever. And we know they couldn't be because they're spineless, you know. They don't even like control when they have it. This is what I was talking about. This is the Michael Wolff. If you don't watch the Daily Beast page, he talks about how Jeffrey Epstein went to his safe, pulled out Polaroids, and showed them to Michael Wolff, and they were Trump with girls of an uncertain age who were topless. A dozen pictures. Donald Trump with topless. Girls of a certain uncertain age. There's creeps running everything. Creeps. Bunch of creeps. But it's Sunday. Maybe it's not. You know, we got somebody from Australia in the house. Oh, here we go. Who's that? Jack Johnson. Hear me out. Have you people tried not being poor? You know, that's a good. I'm going to put some thought into that. I'm going to put that as a good question. And really, we should all be asking that ourselves that today. If you support either side, you need your hard drive checked. I would, yeah, but I don't know if you read any of the news. I would say if you're a Republican, they should definitely be. I was just reading about more Republicans that are like youth pastor leaders that are getting charged with really heinous crimes. It's just shocking to me that they still pawn it off as like traditional values or whatever. Speaking of that, just because we were talking about Trump, Epstein, Elon Musk is now in the Epstein files. I don't know if you've seen the latest release, but I like to talk about this because this is in the red. It's Jesus speaking. And he says, "But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe and trust in me to stumble," that is, to sin or lose faith in humanity, lose faith in this world, it would be, sorry, I need a pointer. It would be better for him if a heavy millstone, one requiring a donkey's strength to turn it, were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea. If your hand causes you to stumble and sin, cut it off. Whatever with the rest of the stuff. That one's pretty important because when you consider Jesus saying, if you cause one of these little ones to stumble, you should get a millstone so heavy that a donkey needs to turn it. That's how heavy it is, a donkey. They call that donkey Hulk because he was known for pulling the heavy millstones. And Jesus says you should put that millstone around your neck and walk into the sea. And here we are with a creep president who is blatantly in the Epstein files. Blatantly. If he wasn't, he doesn't protect anyone. He don't even protect his own kids. You hear how he talks about his daughter. But we just read Jesus' own words, and this creep is running around doing whatever he wants with no accountability after being best friends with this dude and being seen in photographs, Polaroids, with girls of an uncertain age who are topless. A little suspect. So, on this Sabbath day, for all the Christians, I believe in Jesus. I'm not that American-style Christian. I'm the one who's like, we should care for each other. No more co-pays. Everyone should be guaranteed health care. We should not be putting profit over people. We should be valuing the people. We shouldn't have people hoarding wealth at the top. And I thought it's interesting. I know Donald liked to hold the Bible upside down and say 2 Corinthians. I don't know if he's ever read this. He wouldn't care, let's be honest. I know he feigned wanting to get into heaven. But for the rest of us, whoever causes one of these little ones who believe and trust in me to stumble, it would be better for him if a heavy millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea. Interesting words. This is another interesting, if you look up here in the red, we're in the book of Matthew. No, Mark. Sorry. This is the book of Mark. The book of Mark, because they wouldn't be saying Matthew, Luke, and John down here. This is the book of Mark. And Jesus in the book of Mark says, if anyone wants to be first, he must be last of all in importance and servant of all. So, for all you who like to brag about, we got rid of U.S. aid and all those kids can just starve and we're going to be America first. I would, hesitate to think that was very Jesus of us. Now, interesting enough, they got rid of the U.S. aid, but they're, ready to send $20 billion to Argentina to prop up a fascist? Is it authoritarian? That Javier Milei, that Milei guy? That little chainsaw dude who, stripped workers of their rights and absolutely had no regard for people in his fair country. And they're willing to send $20 billion. You know why they're willing? Because it's our money. It's our taxpayer money. It's not the wealthiest money because they got a huge tax break. They're willing to send our money to another country. I don't know if that's very Jesus or America First. I don't know. Check this out before we get into anything else. Before we get into a little more, we're going to go into the book of Matt. I call him Matty Boy, old Matty Fatty Boomba Laddie, because, you know, the Last Supper, he was going for a couple extra rolls, and I was like, Matty Fatty Matty, you lay off those finger rolls, all right? We're going to be drinking wine all night, buddy. But look at this. A $400,000 mortgage is $2,500 per month today. A $400,000 mortgage was $1,500 per month in 2021. $1,000 more a month for the same house. Nothing extra, just the same house. They don't need to build more homes. We need to tax wealthy people. Wealthy people are buying up all the assets. Oh, here it is. Australia. Are you still here? This was the story I was talking about. Why can't America do this? Why can't we? We could put more people to work with renewable jobs, green energy. If you're worried about the heat bills coming up or the electricity over the summer, it's just going to keep getting worse. And why are we letting these companies extort us? That's what I'm going to find out. The CEOs of all these National Grid and stuff, I looked them up before. It's ridiculous. These foreign CEOs that are owning a monopoly on the thing that we have to use. I say we get our power from the sun, like Australia, and wind. Solar power, record-breaking clean energy, and they had some wind in there, all this stuff. It's amazing. Let's see. So many bots in the chat. These Albanian bots. I don't understand why these bots they're so mad at poor people. They hate working people. So many people, you'll see them in your daily life. They won't say much, but then they'll get online with a avatar that has nothing. It's just a color, and they'll type all these things like, you know, I hate working people. Why are you working so hard? Why don't you work harder? Why don't you get 3 jobs? You know, like they say stupid stuff, and you're like, just shut up. You know, just shut up. It must be hard, boomer. Well, actually, a boomer couldn't type that well. It must be hard, you fascist. I know you're probably, you know, the assistant to the CEO, but just shut up. You know, if you're going to hate on working people who are trying to survive, you can go somewhere else. Go to the Timcast. I heard he hates workers too. He absolutely despises working people. I love how all the podcasters, the people who are the laziest people in the world, sit in a room and talk like, you know, they should be worshipped like some emperor. Like what they say is law. They studied nothing. You know, Tim Pool like dropped out of 8th grade. And he acts, you know, like his decree should be worshipped. And it's like, bro, you do a fucking podcast. Shut up. Has he ever worked a real job besides like once for Vice? My Christ. These people, it's so funny. John Petty, are you related to Tom? We must abandon parties and fight as one together. 100%. Take off that stupid MAGA hat. They tricked you. They duped you. They're sending your hard-earned tax dollars to Argentina, 20 billion of it, while they're letting the soy boy Arkansas farmers fail. The Democrats are doing nothing to protect your rights as a woman, your health care as a human. They're doing nothing. I love what John Petty said. That's the Tom Petty spirit right there. Wind and solar is best. Jack Johnson. Tim Pool does wish he had my hair. And that's why he hides his under a hat. I hide mine because it's just everywhere. It is everywhere. And I have to keep it wrapped up. Or it gets everywhere. We do realize where Australia is. Yes, Dr. Cannabis. But you do realize that as recent as like 10 years ago, I was doing research because I have from friends and family that moved down to California. It's called the Sunshine State. I think they called it that for a reason. And it was almost illegal. It was practically impossible to get solar panels on your house in Florida about 10 years ago because the government was working with the fossil fuel companies to basically not allow it. And I said, this is nuts. This is nuts because on your license plate it says Sunshine State. You figure you'd be harnessing it all. You could power the country. 45% of Australia's power comes from coal. Yes, but right now, news as of September 22nd, 77.9% of power in Australia's main grid is coming from solar. And just look at, hey, go watch, what's his name? Friendly Jordies. He talks about those coal billionaires, the magnates that are coal MAGA, and how they just want to have a monopoly on your energy because, you know, $1 billion isn't enough money for these people. But here's the thing, guys. Australia's power is so much cheaper than New Zealand's. We're jealous. But guys, you know, in this, the reason I wanted to bring this up on the day of our Lord, in the year of our Lord 2025, is because I thought this was fantastic. You know, that they could manage this. Their main grid hitting almost 80% of solar power. And we have places in America called like Death Valley, the Sunshine State, and on. And, you know, why aren't we covering every parking lot with solar panels? Why aren't we making every new building go up, have solar panels on it? Guys, it would be much cheaper. I know some of you guys defend like the high cost because you have an allegiance to some dude that has never been wrong in his life and he acts like Kim Jong-un, but really, like, shit's out of control. We don't use solar at night. That's right. That's right, Cameron. As soon as the sun goes away, the solar stops. Like everybody, it's just a blackout every night. But we'll learn to somehow harness that energy and conserve it, and then we'll redistribute it. So we'll figure that out. I'm sure one day we'll have the technology. I mean, we made the internet, so I think we could figure out how to make a battery run when the sun's not there. Oh my God. Ooh, in the Great White North. And solar's even great in winter. That's cool, Gwyneth. And salute to the Great White North. One of my friends who just passed away is from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And I love my Canadian friends. Are there just a lot of Australians in here? I feel like we're totally good. Are there a lot of Australians in here? Somehow I hit right into the Australian feed. I love it. Well, g'day, governor. I think that's hilarious. I love it. Do you guys watch Friendly Jordies? We are the Gold Coast, also known as the Left Coast. I believe they have a Gold Coast in Australia too, CJ. Good to see you. Honestly, from Melbourne. Do you guys watch Friendly Jordies? That's one of my pipelines right into the Australian political market. They have vacant land for renewables. I just think it's such a no-brainer. Is that what you would call it? You know, like we have wind and sun, and if we could harness that into energy and we have the technology, I don't know, it's one of those things where you go, this may be a no-brainer. Instead of paying, Exxon Mobil $1 billion a month so I don't freeze to death or whatever the fuck it is, National Grid, they keep, here in New England, you get a charge, your like electricity bill is $83, and then they're like, distribution, bro. It's a racket. It's like a mafia. That's why I looked up the CEO. I was like, who is this sucker, And he's some dude in the UK. National Grid is a UK company. And I'm like, how does the UK CEOs get to extort us in America? Like, America is just the grifting grounds. If you can grift and you got enough money, you could take advantage of anybody here. That's why, it's the land of opportunity, because you could just grift anybody. Jordan Peterson sells an online course. He was kicked out of Canada, I believe. Canadians were like, get the fuck out of here, dude. And he's here in America, like quoting Nietzsche and being like, come to my online school. I teach to cry on camera. I'm assuming. I don't know what he can even teach. Hey, what's up, G-Ma? Good to see you. But it just seems like such a no-brainer to at least try, you know, for all you naysayers who are like, I'm fine with my oil. I want to, you know, pump my oil every month for $1,000 a gallon. You know, once it's so scarce. It's like the, what's that, Mad Max? Hold on, I gotta go let my cat in. All right, I hear you. I heard you. Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, you guys waited. Well, everybody look away. This is for CJ and Jima. I have your kid right here. Stop. Here we go. Well, I guess if you guys waited. To my friends in Australia, too. Look at this little Wolverine. I caught a Wolverine. I don't know what brand of Wolverine it is. You just... She was like, I'm playing with my toy, dude. Can you please let me go? Hi, I'll let you go. I'll let you go. I just wanted to show you to everybody because you're so pretty. You're such a pretty little kitty. You're such a pretty kitty. Yeah. Oh, God, the other cat now wants to get in. Okay, hold on. Should we go get your big sister? Wind power produces less electricity than burning the oil used in turbines. Well, wind is, of course, going to produce a lot less than burning oil right now. But what I'm saying, Caleb, is we have the technology. Do you think they're investing in it? You know, particularly in the United States where they're like, Tylenol makes you stupid or whatever the president's subscribing to now. You know, they're not investing in it. Guys, if we just funded it, we could. Hold on, I'll be right back. Say bye. Okay, I'm getting her. Come on. Okay, come on. All right. Oh my God, you are such a pain. You are such a pain. This one's the real pain. This one. You are a little pain in the booty. Do you want to have one of them Norwegian forest cats? Yes, that I have. I have 2 of them. The new one I got is absolutely beautiful. Oh my God. Jacob, post the picture on the Discord of the new Norwegian forest cat you got.
Huh?
Please, do it.
No.
Yes, you must. Oh, why would you do that? Okay. Giacobi. Nah, my boyfriend's fart could easily power a whole country. Easily. Exactly. See? That's not even... But if we could use wind and solar, why make more uranium waste? I love the discussion happening right now. Like, guys, we're going to figure this out. I'm going to leave it to you guys in the chat to figure out, you know, what's the best way. Uranium waste, wind, solar. Should we stay with oil? It's Courtney. Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. Ooh, God, I love that name. This is my first time here. Welcome. This channel is about commenting on the news. We joke about the news because the news is a joke. I stopped because I live in Boston for college, and my boyfriend in college was a Rob. Interesting. What colleges did you go to? There's a lot of them here. Oh, God. We have more Maroons hyping up Listen, guys, don't listen to Dr. Oz. Okay, I didn't listen to him when he had a TV show, when Oprah was like, here, listen to this guy. Don't listen to Dr. Oz. He also sells a Tylenol replacement, like an all natural, so he's looking to cash in. Don't listen to RFK, because he's, you know, a moron. And I just wouldn't listen to this guy.
I said, well, let's see how we say that. I said, American.
Yeah, I just wouldn't listen to him in general. You know, one of my big rules in life, guys, one of my big rules, and hopefully Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs, you have this rule too. Anybody that's, you know, on the Epstein list in the files, I don't listen to. I don't think their word means anything. I think they're a predator and a danger and a creep and shouldn't be allowed in our communities. And this guy's all over the files. And he moved Ghislaine Maxwell, after wishing her well, he moved her to a lower security prison. So that's just, you know, here's some Sunday advice for you. You know, if these really rich people are like, look at me, I'm rich, you go, are you in the Epstein files? And when they're like, no, why would I be that? And you're like, well, you know, there's all these photos and stuff. And then some of the files come out and your name, Elon Musk, to Island, December 6th. I just wouldn't listen to those people. I would say you shouldn't be running things, you pervert, you creep me out. You know, it was just a rule of thumb I have. You know, I know there's a lot of you that have a red hat and you're like, I love these guys. You know, that's why I put them in charge of everything. And I say that was a mistake, big mistake. But, you know, I want people to not go broke and for healthcare, and you want perverts to run the country. So we're just in different stages of life. I guess that's how you'd say it. I guess that's how you would say that. Oh, here's a fun one. Just in, Jeffrey Epstein invested over $40 million into a firm backed by Peter Thiel. You know, Joe Rogan's best friend. Thiel went on to become the founder of Palantir. He should have named it Palantir, okay? I understand it's Palantir because he's the Lord of the Rings guy. But the pun was right there. Palantir. People would have got it was Palantir. I mean, that's how you know these nerds have no comedy bone in their body, because Palantir would have been hilarious. The company the U.S. government just hired to compile an AI-driven centralized database of every American citizen. Nothing to see here. Who isn't friends with Jeffrey Epstein at this? I mean, I don't think there's anyone in our government that isn't closely tied to this dude, or anyone that has over $999 million that isn't closely tied to this pervert. And there's still people in the chat like, you're just jealous, you loser, get a job. But it's like, guys, I'm speaking out for all of us who are like, has anybody gone grocery shopping lately? One bag of groceries was $51. Like, that's not normal. Like, I've grocery shopped before. This wasn't my first time. And I went and I was like, oh shit, that's that price now? Like, ooh, this is not good, guys. Not good. And some of you were like, yeah, just work harder. You're just jealous of Palantir. And I'm like, no. I'm saying our economy's collapsing. Our economy's collapsing. Nobody can buy a home because the home that was $400,000 home doesn't exist anymore. But it was $1,500 in 2021, and just 4 years later, it's gone up $1,000. Like, this is nuts, guys. This is nuts. LLS. Groceries are insanely expensive now. It's so nuts. That's why the other day here, I was talking about 86% of Americans are worried about groceries. And I know the bots in the chat are going to go, I'm fine. But my point is like, if one or two people are like, oh, I'm not worried about it, like, that's the alarm bells that most people are like, this is nuts. Here's how I'll explain it. Humans eat food. Companies make a shit ton of food. So much food, nobody would go hungry in America. But they throw it all away if they can't make money off of it. So we have to buy that food from them. And they raise the prices on us. And Donald Trump did this thing with tariffs Where now we don't know. Oh, you want a mango? $70. Would you like to drink coffee? $100. Oh, you want a steak from Argentina, who we have to bail out with $20 billion of our tax money? Oh, steak will be $100 now. Right? It's so weird that like we because the Republicans have so efficiently propagandized people, it's so weird that we have to be like, guys, affording food shouldn't be like a dividing issue. Like everyone should collectively be like, yeah, that's fucked if you can't afford food or rent or a house. Did you hear what I just said? Collectively, as humans. Nobody should be like, oh, just work harder, lazy. You understand? Like I'm talking about things you need to live. And somehow Republicans like have mind effed you into believing like they're just lazy. But we can't give it to them. If we do handouts, they'll be lazy too. So they're lazy and they don't want to work hard enough. And if we give them it, they'll be even more lazy. But somehow billionaires have all their needs met and they're not lazy. They're hard workers. Oh, the propaganda is strong in this country. What's Paul talking about, CJ? Move your big head so we can read the info. Paul, I went to school with big head. I was big teeth. Read it, Paul. I'm just encouraged that we still have people that can read in America. Well, who knows? He might not be American. I don't think many people can read in this country. We know the president surely can't. Where is it? Maybe he can. He's just, those books that you get for your kids that says reading level 1, 2, 3. Maybe he's still at level 1.
I said, well, let's see how we say that.
How?
I said, Minifin.
He got it. That's the president, guys. Now you know why he uses Twitter all the time, because the moron can't pronounce anything. Eat the rich. Who said that? Corey. Right on. Right on. Paul, you are an American. It's good to see another American who can read. I'm just excited. Just excited. That's all. That's all. The current admin are more interested in controlling our libraries, bathrooms, bedrooms, schools, mouths, thought, mind, but no policy on the policies they campaigned on. None. And, 93S, 94. Good years, by the way. We still had Tupac. We still had Kurt. It's funny that the party, again, don't be associated with either party, folks. Be for your neighbors. Be for your community. And that's what Jesus said. That's what Jesus wanted. He didn't like billionaires. But it's interesting that the Republican Party have tricked people into believing we want to control what books are in the libraries, control what you see on TV, control what bathrooms you can use, control what you do in your bedrooms, control your schools, police your mouth, police your thought, and they're the party of freedom, the don't tread on me. I figured out, because I have a don't tread on me shirt, I figured out that the don't tread on me, it literally means me. The me is literal. I figured this out because I kept reading my shirt over and over again. And I was like, God damn, when my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents were polluting the Boston Harbor with all the king's tea, and people were telling them, I don't like, you're ruining their capital. That's the king's assets. You should protest the correct way with a sign. And those assholes were trying to tell my grandparents, how to protest back then. I said, the don't tread on me. That was like a unifying call. And they didn't say don't tread on us, and then I figured it out. It was don't tread on me, literally. So when you see somebody wearing the don't tread on me shirt, they just mean specifically them. They're like, none of this shit affects me. I'm good. So I figured it out for everybody. Oh, Chris, you will not celebrate a racist in my house. So Chris S., come back tomorrow. Charlie Kirk was an absolute racist and a disgrace to humanity. Around these parts, we celebrate Harriet Tubman and the real heroes in America. And in fact, Chris, you're banned for 24 hours and don't come back. Don't come back. Go to a racist channel. There's plenty of them. He was a racist podcaster. Left perspective, everyone doing better means everyone. Yeah, it's amazing. These people will hear me say, like, we need universal health care paid for by billionaires' taxes. If they can't afford a tax, maybe they're living outside their means. And people will be like, not with my tax. I'm like, I didn't even talk about you. The only way I talked about you is saying you get free health care. You too. It says more about them, though, you know. He was LLS, full-on propagandist for the hate state. He was. Hoy, you're gonna get put in timeout too. Hoy. So for the dum-dums in the crowd, I know there's only a few, but I want to address this once. He literally said, if I see a black person as a pilot, I'm gonna question if they're qualified. Now, again, I hate that I got to break this down. So stupid, and I apologize to most of you. But that's racism, textbook. That's saying if I see someone's skin color, I judge them in a bad way. That's racism. I don't need context or nothing else. If somebody said that to one of my family members, we would have issues. So please, don't come in here celebrating a racist. Nope, Eric Cartman, you're a disgrace to the name. Bye. Context doesn't matter because that's all he was doing. I played audio yesterday from a black woman who was talking about his context. You guys love to. Here's the thing. You didn't need context of Martin Luther King, did you? You didn't. You didn't need context of Mr. Rogers quotes, did you? So you're full on propagating more of a lie. Captain Cook, go ahead, call in. You're gonna have to donate some money so I could get a show with the call-in line, but okay. Man, there's a lot of stupider people than I thought, like much stupider than I thought, but it's okay, you know. What it really shows is that you're trying to excuse your racism. You're like, yeah, I agree with it, so it can't be racist. That's all you're doing. You're just showing us like, well, you really believed in what he said, and you thought it wasn't racist, because if you understood it to be racist, that would mean you're racist. And I would just say, go put on Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror. Go sit in the mirror for the duration of the song and really think about, you know, the decisions you've made at life to make you a racist. Virginia, are you too stupid to understand words? This is like tough for me. When you say, are you labeling them as racist too? No, I was bringing up how when all the context freaks come out and go, you're taking Charlie out of context. And I go, no, I'm not. The context was, if he gets on a plane and sees a black pilot, he's going to question if they're qualified. That's all the context. There's no more. There's no more to it. There's nothing else. He claimed DEI was a magical way to be hired as a black person. That's the context. That's it. That's the whole context, folks. And that's racism. I know here in America, they've really trained you that, you know, nothing is racism. Why would anything be racist? But it's very sad. And the thing is Mr. Rogers did the exact opposite. During the civil rights movement, he had his black police officer come, I don't remember what his name was, but you can look this up, and dip his feet in a pool with Mr. Rogers, which was breaking the racial barrier. So what I'm saying is, Mr. Rogers quotes, never has anybody been like, you're taking that out of context, man. And people are doing that with Charlie because Charlie was a racist. Here, I'll play this for you. I'll do it again. You're going to make me do it again. I'm going to play this lady for you. Not the whole thing, because we did this the other day. Listen, this is a black woman tweeting something. I don't know, but I found this, and this was a good explanation for all you context freaks.
His videos in their entirety instead of taking little snippets and clips from videos and taking them out of context. And because I'm not afraid to admit that I was wrong.
So she's talking about Charlie Kirk and saying, all you guys kept saying, taking all these clips out of context, and I'm not afraid to say I was wrong, so listen up.
because I do always want to learn and educate myself. I did exactly that, and I decided to rewatch a lot of his videos. And I gotta admit that I am a little bit embarrassed because I truly did not know a lot of what he said. I wasn't privy to it because I did stop watching him quite a long time ago because I did feel that he was a little bit racist. But after rewatching them, I am embarrassed because I realized that I've been being Black wrong my entire life, and I had no clue. I genuinely color me shocked to find out that I could wield my DEI card and I could get any position that I wanted, despite the fact that I am woefully unqualified. So I am going to apply to be the head of cardio at a hospital, maybe a pilot, I don't know, for fun. I don't know, I was thinking about being the CEO of a company, and I'm going to tell them that I want to be a DEI hire and that they have to hire me because I'm a Black woman.
Did you hear that? So that was Charlie's argument for you taking it out of context, folks. That DEI meant they're just hiring Black folks, not qualified. That's why Charlie said if I see a Black person get on as the pilot, I'm going to wonder if they're qualified, because DEI just means hiring unqualified people, which is just racism. That's it. Settled. We're moving on from Charlie Kirk. If you'd like to hear the rest of that, that was in yesterday's live stream. You could go to the description of yesterday's video and you can follow the link and you can watch it for yourself. But I'm tired of debating all these racists in the chat that are like, Charlie Kirk wasn't a racist, Charlie this. And Martin, if you say Charlie was right, just don't come back. Don't. Guys, Charlie Kirk was a puppet for wealthy people to keep us divided, and his puppetry, his puppet masters were spewing hatred and racism. He hated the working class, he hated women, he hated any people of color, he hated the marginalized. He was a white dude that argued to keep the status quo with the pew-pew violence on schools because he didn't think it would happen to him. And then turns out he lost that debate by a long shot. So enough. Speaking, you know what? Some of you might want to stay. Because while Charlie worked solely for money, he'd say anything for money. Why do you think they propped him up in front of young, impressionable minds? Because they wanted him to show off like he was some stunning star, spitting this hot fire that was so controversial. It was only controversial because we were like, bitch, we settled this stuff with the civil rights. And you're saying the civil rights was awful. It was, whatever he said about it. It's like you're just rehashing old racism, man. You ain't even got any new thoughts on it. You know, it's just like all these fascists. And when you see the Nazis walking around in America, it's like, bitch, my grandfather, I got his flag right over there. Like, he fought all you. We had a war over this shit. And we won. Stop bringing it back. Stop acting like it's cool or it's edgy. It's none of those things. But that's why Charlie, whatever he was, college dropout. I don't see a lot of you people saying, go get a degree, go get better educated for a better job. He did a podcast, not important. Sorry, I do a live stream, not important. When I was on radio, it's not important. When you're pushing for people's rights and trying to educate people, it can be important. But overall, in the scheme of things, important people are doing God's work out there, working with the kids, helping the disabled, the elderly, caring for others. And he did all that for a great sum of money. He would say any heinous thing for money, And I would just like to point to Jesus. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. I'm guessing that's like a prehistoric elephant, a mammon. One big chump. Whoa, 1999. Holy crikeys, because we got a lot of Australians in the live. They're going to understand I'm shocked because I said crikey. By the way, God bless Steve Irwin. My kids love him. We still watch him for all the Australians, really, and his family. They're doing God's work. One big chump, thank you for the 1999 super chat. Kirk was a spineless piece of crap. He defended the exact thing that got him. So now that settled, while we're arguing about that idiot and his frankly dumb, this regime is our freedom and stoking wars. 100%. And I would even say he defended, this was my whole thing. When people started calling him an activist, I said he wasn't an activist. He was like a de-activist or a retroactivist. Like he wanted shit to go, not even backwards. It wasn't activism. He was a propaganda mouthpiece because activists, you're advocating for something different, new. He wanted, women to not work. He thought that was the downfall of society. And I'm like, bitch, do you understand that? Like, go look up 1800s Lowell mill girls. First union in Lowell, first women's union. And women have been working forever in America, okay? So it shows how dumb people are sometimes. It really shocks me. But he wasn't an activist. Never let anyone call him an activist. He wanted the status quo. He wanted to keep things how they were because he was paid by the NRA. It was one of his big funders because he didn't think it would ever happen to him. His kids would never go to a public school. His kids probably go to gated areas, He thought it would never, ever happen to him, so he advocated for it. And it's sad, because that's not what Jesus was about. For the people who also call him a Christian, he was the farthest thing. Do we need to read this again? Whoever causes one of these little ones who believe and trust in me to stumble, it would be better for him to have a heavy millstone hung around his neck and were thrown into the sea. He was going to college campuses. Those are the little ones, the unformed minds. They're still developing and telling people not to go to college and drop out and just listen to me. Poisonous for our communities. So thank you, one big chump. Appreciate you. Arthur, I'm going to tell you something. When you call me gay, number one, that's not an insult, I know the coolest gay people ever. But I do want to point out it reflects a lot about you. And maybe that's like a secret you're holding back. And I muted you because, you're a moron. I'm sure you get that a lot. I can't imagine there's many live streams where like, oh, Arthur's back. Good to see you, man. What kind of comment you got today? But if you're just spouting out like people are gay, I would question you. I would, say question why, that is what you think insults people. Why you think that is an ultimate insult. What in your brain makes you think this is the worst thing I could call someone? And what are you hiding, Arthur? CL4, really, this ain't the place to try to defend Charlie. He wasn't a Christian. He just wasn't. I hate to break it to you. Someone going onto college campuses telling people that, you should be able to have the dangerous schools, and that's how I'm going to put it. But the dangerous school situation in America should just stay this way, What do you think about that? Do you know anything about Jesus? That he treasured little kids. He would never want them to go to school through a metal detector or have to do these drills they're doing. You understand? Oh, God, the Bible has been so perverted here in America. And it's very simple because it's right here. Like, this isn't one of the parables. But for Christ's sakes, for your sakes, buddy, for Christ's sake, I understand why when Jesus, you hear about Jesus telling the parables and many people walked away confused. Like, that is America modern day. But it's with like the simplest shit. Jesus was like, hey, love your neighbor. What's the most important commandment, Jesus? Love your God, love your neighbor. Who's your neighbor? Everyone. And people are like, God damn, he's speaking in parables again. I can't figure this guy out. What does he mean, love your neighbor? I told my neighbor he's lazy, work harder, you should die if you can't afford food, you never should own your house. Like, what is he talking about? I wear a cross around my neck. Isn't that enough, Jesus? What is this love your neighbor parable? Fucking morons. Sorry, God. I said fuck. Trust me, guys. Don't worry about me. He ain't. I've been praying for him to save me. He ain't coming down to punish me. So we're good. If you've seen who's in the White House, trust me, he ain't coming. He doesn't look. If you've seen the face on this dude who's in Riyadh, and this one who's in Riyadh, and this one who's in Riyadh, getting that delicious blood, man. And then if you've seen who's in the White House. And the stuff he's done that we don't know about, the birthday cards, the photos of the Polaroids with topless girls of an uncertain age, and you're worried about me saying the F word, oh, God bless your heart, as they say in the South. If you can read Donald Trump saying, go F yourself, to people needing healthcare coverage, You know, that's what he said behind closed doors. We talked about it yesterday. And then you think me saying the F word is going to make Jesus mad? I got news for you. Me and Jesus are cool. He ain't cool with this orange tard. And Elon Musk is in the Epstein files. We should never forget. Never forget. God apparently has his hands full chasing down these PDF files. Just call him back, Satan. Call this old turd back. Summon him back. My Christ. This is the propaganda. I love political cartoons. Rage baiting Christians for views. I love it. Reading Jesus' words to him is rage baiting Christians. You sound like Joel Osteen before he blocked me on all the social medias. I'll tell you the one thing American Christians hate the most is when you take out Jesus' words. They have never gotten so mad at me. Joel Osteen blocked me. All I did was I would quote tweet Jesus at him, and he blocked me. And I'm like, hey, Joel, you know when you're asking people for the seed money? No one can serve two masters. You should really stop asking for the money and start, spreading that money to the people who need it. And these Christians, man, they get so heated. They're like, how dare you rage bait us with Jesus's words? It's so funny. Jacob, Kirk was a bad person. Racism, bad. I know it's maybe tough. Are you new to Earth? Are you new to Earth? Maybe you're new to Earth. I don't know. Osteen is in it for the cash, 100%. Nicholas Nothi, quote, how dare you use my own weapons against me? That's exactly. Listen, there's nothing a Christian hates more than somebody who knows the Bible. Because when I meet these people, I'm like, oh, yeah, you mean in this, and this, and this? What? Let's look it up. Let's bring it up. I got it right here on my phone. They hate that shit because they use it as a weapon. And mostly they're using like Old Testament stuff, like the Jewish Bible. They're like, Leviticus. And I'm like, is that a cross on your neck? I'm pretty sure after that cross thing happened, you should be looking at the red words. But that's just me. I want to sub, but you're ignoring all the positivity and good comments, and that to me is not godly. Oh, I didn't know I was getting good comments. Why, thank you. The Dane is back to watch the shit show of American politics. Good to have you. God, I wish I could be in Denmark. Oh, Daneland. Trey Slay, the fact that you're insulting people while you're acting on a double standard, you want to be able to insult others. Trey, maybe you're new to live stream. Maybe you haven't read some of the comments. I get insulted all day long, and I don't take any of it to heart. In fact, I use it. I say it's a learning opportunity. When people come in here and call me gay, say I live with my mom, say I'm lazy, say I work harder to get educated, you name it, they call me bald. It's hilarious. And I usually take those moments as learning opportunities to highlight that it really says more about them. It says more about the state of our nation. It says more about Christians, the people that are spewing the most hatred for their neighbors who Jesus told them to love. But I will call them morons or racist if they act accordingly. If that offends you, I'm not sure if you're a Republican. I would hope not, because the Republicans usually drink the liberal tears, right? It was all about not being offended and legalizing comedy. And it's just amazing how sensitive some people will get when they come in here. This is a satire show, folks. This is jokes. And I know America isn't like aware of comedy anymore with taking Jimmy Kimmel off the air, having the government force him off the air. But I'm still going to do comedy. And I'm still going to call people maroons as long as they're acting accordingly. Frack it. If they quote the Old Testament, ask them if they eat bacon. Well, there's more than just bacon. I mean, that's why it's funny when you hear them quote Leviticus or some shit. Because it's like, yo, that is a hardcore book. And I'm glad I don't subscribe to it. Because God was making people jump through all kinds of crazy hoops. The government did force him off the air, Tommy G. The FCC is the government, and they threatened him. But it's cute. It's cute of you to, work on that propaganda. You got to get it stronger. Got to work on your propaganda. You should really take notes from the Trump regime. Comedy is cool. See, some people still think it's cool. Corey Stewart, you got my sub, Rob. Keep up the good work, brother. Thank you, Corey. I appreciate that. Listen, this live stream, I'll lay it out very simple. If you don't understand sarcasm or satire, or you're gonna come in here hailing racists as good people or misogynist, this ain't for you. Go to a safe space. Go to somewhere the regime has approved. The Trump regime approved listening and watching. I'm sure they have a list somewhere. They have many lists. But this is a place where we're going to defend any marginalized people. We're not going to let Christians use this stuff as a weapon while they're worshiping, money, while they're doing meme coins and rug pulls on hardworking Americans, while they're sending our tax dollars to Argentina to prop up fascists, and they're not helping out, farmers here in America. We're going to keep calling all that out. All of it is comedy. Jacob, you're just so whiny. God in America is about that cash, not so much religion. Yeah. It's sad. It's sad. You can be a Christian and not agree with Trump. Yes. But most Trump people use this Christianity as a weapon. That's why, have you seen Caroline Levitt or Pam Bondi? And they always have their crosses out. Or they always talk about, traditional values or putting religion back in things. And I'm like, what religion? Because Jesus said, love people. And you're being really cruel to people. So Trump is a nothingist. He's a moneyist. He worships the money. He was the one that was saying worships the mammon money. Wait, what's the railway? Yaz. Oh my God, they wear a cross. How dare they? Do you know people that aren't Christian that wear a cross? I'll just ask you that. A lot of people going around just wearing a cross because it's fashionable. No, they wear it as a signal that, it's their shield to do whatever they want. What is going on in the comments? And are you guys talking about this rail that I'm praying that we can get? A high-speed rail? How amazing would that be? How amazing. But, I think at the end of the day, we can all safely say, this dude, perv, big perv, best friends with him, in the files, all over the files. That's why he hasn't released them. And even this dude now in the files. Look at that. Elon Musk to the island, December 6th. These creeps. Stop letting creeps control us and run us. Don't vote for creeps, folks. Don't let the creeps. Stop voting for creeps, okay? We need the people so groceries aren't expensive, so we can buy homes again, not rent, so we can have universal health care, so we can tax billionaires. Remember, if you're going to defend taxing billionaires, I say tax them into extinction. Once they earn $999 million, anything over that, taxed at 100%. And if you're going to defend them, let me just make my argument. If they can't afford it, they're living outside of their means. Because a lot of us are affording life on much less. And if they have $999 million, and they can't afford a tax, then they're living outside of their means, folks. Because there's no way I see people living on 50 grand a year, 100K a year, and those people are taxed. And you're telling me billionaires can't be taxed at 100%? And they wouldn't be living outside. Maybe they're, buying too much websites, renting too many cities for their weddings. Maybe they're going to space too much. I don't know, but it seems like they're living outside of their means, because when we have 1 in 5 kids going food insecure in America, 25 empty homes for every homeless person in America, and people dying with medical debt because they were gatekept from a curable, preventable thing, maybe we shouldn't have billionaires anymore. Just food for thought on this Sunday. Giving too much caviar, going to space too much, and buying too many diamonds. Exactly. The only acceptable creep is the Radiohead song. Agreed. Agreed. 50 million tops. Appreciate that. All right, guys. But that's it for me. Hit subscribe. Some of you are allowed to. Looney, good to see you. Fracket. LLS. Who else was here? Alma. Neon Monkey. KRAR, good to see you. If I forgot anybody. Oh, Jacob was here. And Gma. And don't forget, I know we can't forget about the Epstein files. We can't. And look at these CEOs. Look at what they're making hourly. $46,000 an hour. That's if you can't afford a tax on $46,000 an hour, I'm sorry, you're living outside of your means. Well, remember, no one can serve two masters. No one can serve two masters. Okay? And if anyone wants to be first, remember when they said America first? Oh, maybe that's what Trump's doing. He must be last of all and servant of all. Well, we're definitely not being a servant of all. But we're shooting for last place in healthcare. You know, we pay the most. We're dying earlier. Last place in school. First place in prison population. But yeah, and that's the red is Jesus. If anyone wants to be first, he must be last of all and servant of all. So take that with you. Have a great day. And much love. Much love to you. Be kind. Hit subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow for those who have subscribed and hit the notification bell. Tomorrow we're going live again. It's Monday. Back at it. Have a great Sunday.